Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video talking about some equipment that I got from Pawsitive Fitness Ireland to help with Bikejöring and Canicross with my dogs. I'm going to stick just a little bit of information about stuff that isn't to do with the dogs at the end of the video, so if you want to listen to that, go for it. If not, feel free to just hang up per se after the video is done. So I hope you enjoy! This is the antenna that's going to be used for the bike jogging. So this is basically a piece that attaches to the handlebars of your bike. So the handlebars go out like this, the piece in the middle, that's where this attaches to. And it's to make sure the lead doesn't fall down into your front wheel. Because if you've got a lead and you've got it at the front of your bike and you've got it out and the dog puts slack in it, the dog slows down or stops for whatever reason, this goes into the bike wheel, it's going to get entangled up and the dog is going to be strangled and you're going to crash and it's a nightmare. With this, what happens is this attaches to the front of the bike. This is just looped around the bike like so. And then what you do is you feed the lead itself through the middle part here. Now you can do this by, oh my god, going like that. So this will be attached to the bike back here. The lead goes forward like this so that it's not going to get tangled up in the wheel, and then the lead goes downwards to attach to the dog to be able to pull the entire bike. And if they do slack, it's okay because none of this middle part is going to fall down on the front wheel of the bike. So this is one of the pulling harnesses. It's a non-stop dog wear harness. I like it a lot. It's got really wide sort of straps on it to make sure that the dog isn't having it cut into themselves. You can see here this is where the head goes. And then the leg is out here, so there's loads of room for the leg to go back and forth. There's not going to be any sort of chafing or pulling underneath the armpit with this strap behind. Whereas a lot of the more commercial, normal dog harnesses, they tend to be just around the head and then immediately behind the front legs. So if they were running in that for a long period of time, especially if they're pulling something, they're going to end up hurting themselves. They're going to wear away at their hair. They're going to give themselves like the equivalent of friction burn, calluses and stuff over a long period of time. It's not going to be good. Whereas these are specifically made so that they can have a load of free range of movement basically. And then the back part is a piece of, it's almost like a really thick paracord on a strap, and then they'll be able to pull with this all they want, and it evenly disperses the weight to the back of their body. All of it's going to be sitting on top of the dog. There's no big buckles and things to close up. There's some clasps and buckles here where you can just shorten the back strap, and I'm pretty sure this does the same where it shortens it, but again, I haven't a clue. It just sits on top of the dog, legs go through here, head goes through the front, and that's it. There's no clasps and buckles to do underneath. There's no hard buckles that'll be rubbing against the dog while they're running. Everything is padded. These parts here, you can see that when they're running, this is actually able to completely freely move back and forth. So again, they're not going to be constricted around their shoulders, not going to be constricted around their neck. Their chest isn't going to be majorly constricted, stopping them from being able to gasp and breathe. So altogether, I really like this harness. This is the second harness we got. So one of these is for Toby, one of these is for Beauty. So obviously they're both the same brand, they're the same style. Very conveniently, very happy about this, they have different coloured straps on them because they're both one size different from the other. On the website, Pawsitive Fitness Ireland, the website is caninefitness.ie, but the person who runs it is Pawsitive Fitness, and on the website they were all the same colour, so I was going to have to label them. I was going to get like a coloured thread or something and sew it through to be able to tell them apart at a glance without having to try and keep labels on saying exactly what size they were, etc. But if they've got different colours, that's just really useful, really handy. I'm very happy about that. Tia is a much smaller dog. She's not big enough to actually be able to fit one of those big pulling harnesses, and really she's not a breed that is equipped to be pulling a heavy load. Therefore, she has got a very small harness, and it's not the style of the others with the big pulling out part at the back, but she's just going to be running alongside me, or, you know, she could pull all she wants, but she weighs about 4 or 5 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds. That's like 8 to 10 pounds at the most, I believe. Whereas the others are 22 and 20 kilos. So they're a well-bodied dog to be pulling a heavy load, especially between the two of them. They can run at the same pace, whereas Tia's very small. So Tia's got her own little one. So this one, again, it's got the padding inside. I very much like that. It's got a metal clasp for you to put the lead into, so it's not going to just break like a plastic one might if there was like a bit of a tumble, or over time I find plastic ones, they tend to splinter and wear down a bit, whereas metal ones, they're far more trustworthy. And then it's also got very nice clasps here that they come out with a little bit of force, and in they're like a very solid clasp because it's a very small clasp, so I did a fairly hard pull on it to make sure it actually worked, and I'm happy enough with it. I can pull harder than she can, therefore it will not break if she's pulling on it. So again, very happy with this one. So these are all of the lead attachments that came with the order from Pawsitive Fitness. So first thing here is a bungee lead. This is a 2 meter long bungee lead when it's fully stretched out. So I'm just gonna, oh, that's a stretchy thing. I don't want to cut that. I'd be concerned that I was accidentally doing it wrong. This one's one that you can cut. So this is a lead that is stretchy in the middle. So when you're pulling on it and when the dog is pulling on it, there's a give in it. Altogether, I'd say this is about 1.5 meters. What's that? That's about 4 feet-ish. Whereas it stretches to about 2 meters altogether when it's fully pulled out. So that is about 6 feet and change, I believe. One thing I really liked about this is the buckle. My mother's recording. She can tell me when it's in focus. Fiona, can you see the buckle? Yes. So what you have to do to take it off is you can't push it in normally. You have to turn it to push it in. So there's less of a chance of your dog accidentally getting out. And if you let go of it, it automatically goes back to the sideway. So again, it's just an extra bit of security. When I'll be using this for the Bikejöring, it'll be attached to the bike. It'll be through the fitting that I already showed you there a minute ago. And then this part will be attached to the pulling harness. And when they're pulling, basically, if they run a bit far ahead, they're not going to be suddenly having their neck jerked on or their shoulders jerked on because of the fact that this is just a solid lead. Because it's got some give, they'll have a bit of a chance to rein it in a bit if they're pulling too hard, etc, etc, etc. So it's less hard on my bike of having a dog pulling every couple of seconds in like bursts of speed, because it's stretchy, everything kind of evens out a bit. And a good clasp is just a bonus. This is the other lead that we've got, so that's a lead for one dog. I'm going to move it off to one side so it's not in the way. I'll move that momentarily. This is a 2 dog lead. So it's the same idea. We've got our handle, and then the 2 dogs are going off to the side. Again, it's a bungee lead, it's a stretchy lead, it's all good, but 2 separate dogs can be hooked up to it while I'm running along and it's attached to me or it's attached to the bike. So it's to just let them have more than one dog at a time while running, obviously. So I'm going to most likely have this for Toby and Beauty. Poor Tia is going to always have to be on her own because her legs are about this long, whereas Toby's are about this long, and she just will not be able to keep up. She's going to be exhausted and very sad. So this is just a 2 dog lead so that I can walk both of them or run both of them or cycle with both of them at the exact same time. And for that, especially at the start, we're going to want to use a neckline. So a neckline is just a line that's going to be attached to both their collars. So the lead, I forgot the word, the lead would be attached to their harnesses and they're pulling with that, whereas these would just be attached to both their collars so that they're not going in 2 separate directions. Because if I'm coming down a path and there's a tree in the middle and I tell them to go left, if one of them gets confused and goes right, then I'm going to go straight into a tree and die. So we don't want that. Poor dogs would get absolutely wrenched to crap because of the bike pulling back on them, etc, etc. So if they're together like this, at least if one of them makes a mistake, the other one will correct them back, or the 2 of them at least will make the same mistake where we don't end up crashing. So long term, they'll probably be able to go without them, but just for the start, to keep them kind of in check and get them kind of into the rhythm of we're running together, it's not a race of one above the other, etc. This would just be handy that I'm going to be using it to make sure that they're sort of in check with each other. This is a Canicross belt. I'm not 100% sure if it's pronounced Canicross or Canicross, but I've only seen it written really, so I may be incorrect in that. If you ever get these, keep them, because they're dogs. If they eat them, some of them are poisonous, some of them are not, just don't let them eat them. But if you put them into a packet of treats, your biscuits won't go stale, so keep silica gel packets all the time. So this is a very nice belt that basically I'd be able to use when running. So this part goes around the waist, This part is just kind of like padding for the back for when the dogs are pulling you, so it's not like a really thin strap cutting into your ass. It's like a nice wide strap, so you're not being cut to hell. And then the front part, un momento por favor. How do we untangle this? There we go. The front part here the lead attaches to, so 1 second, I'll grab the orange lead for an example. If I'm running with a dog, I'll take this, and it's one that you have to screw down so the dog doesn't escape. You put the lead part through here, you screw it back up so they cannot accidentally do it. It's not a turn to one side, it's a full screw. And when I've got this belt on, the dog is pulling, and the dog will be pulling on this, which will then attach to the dog. So it's a very secure way that you don't have to hold the lead with your hands free, they're pulling you, and you can run way faster because you are now dog powered. No one needs horsepower, there's only dog power nowadays. So this is again waist, butt, and then there's 2 straps here that go underneath your legs just for the extra support and making sure that the dog doesn't run away with you or cut into you in any way. It's just for comfort and to make sure it's like a very secure belt. And you're able to do races and everything with Canicross, so that's pretty cool. I can't run at all, but I'm trying to, and this is going to encourage me, because what could encourage you more than a dog pulling you at high speed to learn how to run fairly quickly? The audio for this clip disappeared, so I'm going to do my best to try and repeat what I said originally. So here you can just see how the belt properly fits on. So the top strap goes around the waist there, and the bottom strap is thick enough so that when the dog is pulling on you, it's not going to be cutting into the back of you, and there's plenty of sort of support on the back, so you just kind of bend forward, which is what you want when you're running anyway. The front part where the clasp goes onto moves freely left and right, because if it was fixed in the middle and your dog suddenly ran to the left, you're going to get really sort of jerked to one side or pulled to one side, whereas because it moves freely, your dog can turn corners before you get there, and you're less likely to injure yourself or to rip the thing. The back also has a little pocket for your poo bags or your phone or your keys. Another thing that came with it was this, which I believe is like a head tube scarf thing. I don't know what they're called. So that's the symbol for Pawsitive Fitness Ireland, and it is a neck scarf tube thing. This I did not buy, this was just included. So it's like... I like it. I've just realised it actually says on the packet what it is. So it's a neckerchief, a headband, a blind chicken, a wristband, a foulard, an Alice band, balaclava. Okay, it's got a lot of different things. I don't know if this can be seen properly. Hold on, if I rip this, it won't interrupt the picture. But you can see here, there's loads of different ways to wear said headband thing. And that's fantastic. Huh. Pirate! So, these harnesses are really, really easy to put on. Beauty, come here, sir. Good girl. Wait. You take the back piece, put their head straight through the middle, head through. If they've got a collar, put the collar through so it doesn't get stuck. And then you just need to put your leggies through the front and your leggy through the front. And that's it. That's the full thing done. Beauty, come. Good girl. So that's the entire harness completely on. I know, come here, buddy. Good girl. Stay standing for 2 seconds. Up. Good girl. So when she pulls, it's put the... It's got all the pressure on the back of it instead of elsewhere. I'm not sure if... No. I thought for a second that I had to do a strap of some kind, but I do not. And that is it. Done. Very easy. Only thing about these is if your dog is skittish and stuff, don't put them in one of these straight away, because if they really wanted to and they backed up, they could definitely get out of this. But if they're pulling, there's no way they're going to get out of it. If they're pulling forward, that's what it's made for, where they'll pull forward and they've got the entire thing around. And it looked comfy as hell, didn't it? Do you think so? What do you think? We'll see what Toby thinks. Alright, you go that way. Alright, Toby, you're a little bit more excitable than Beauty. On over the head. Wonderful. Leggy. Up and over. Come here. And leggy. Up and over. Over the collar. And there you go. That's the entire thing done. What do you think? Whee, gotcha. Come here. Good boy. He doesn't seem to be upset about it in any way. It's flat against his back. It looks like it's comfortable. It looks like it fits well. And again, loads of room behind the legs so that when he's running, he's not going to be chafing the back of his legs. What do you think, bud? You don't care. You don't care in the slightest. And then we'll grab Tia and do her one because her one is different. Right, so Tia, undo the buckle. Undo the Toby. Loop goes over the head. Collar goes in front of the loop. Then we'll bring this between the front legs and up the side. And click. Yes, I know, Toby. Very exciting. Good. Between the front legs and up the side. And click. So obviously that's too loose on her, so we're going to just tighten that. Put this elasticy piece down here for now. And feed it up and in. Toby, please. And same thing on this beauty, please. I know. And down on this side. Toby, you are desperate. Absolutely desperate. And there's little elastic loops that you just put the little strap into so it doesn't go flying around the place. And the exact same little elastic loop. And there we go, that fits nicely. She's able to pull on that and she's all good. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Don't eat her.
Does not hinder their movement in any way.
Nope, they are completely able to move and express their natural behaviour. Tia, you didn't do anything. Are we done? We go outside. Right, we're done. We're done.
Thank you very much for watching the video. I don't have anything better to put here, so you just get a picture of Beauty after she stole my hot water bottle sloth one time when she was cold. So I haven't uploaded in about 2 months because I've actually moved house. And due to me moving house, I actually had to sell majority of my reptile collection. So the bad news is that I had to sell quite a few of my snakes, all of my lizards. And as a result of this, my reptile videos in future are going to be very specific or very not intermittent, what's the word? There'll be very few, there won't be as many, and if the ones that there are, it's going to be the same animals kind of on repeat with different goals in mind for that video, but I don't have half as many animals as I used to have. However, the good news is that I have gotten a full-time job, and it's a job in working with dogs, so I'm pretty happy about that. And it's a full-time thing, and I've got my own apartment, and it's going to be really, really good for me. I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm allowed to bring Beauty with me. And Beauty, the nature of the job means that Beauty will be able to attend the job with me every day. So we can work on her training and her socialization, and she'll get to have some dog friends from where I'm working. Also, kind of in the good news category, I suppose, I'm going to be doing a good few videos on more dog-related stuff, like different things that your dogs can and can't eat and things that your dogs can and can't be around, because I'll be able to make them from my apartment with Beauty. So I'll at least be able to do content still. It'll just be a little bit more canine related than reptile related. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.